Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. For the tarot portion, I'm going to use the Idyllis Tarot, which is a smaller deck, but it's easy to shuffle, and I like the images on it. It is an Omnido. That's the creator, Omnido. There's this information with the what do we call it? I can't. My brain is not telling me what that's called, but put your camera thing on that or push that button, however that works, and you can find it. There's also the information there. I believe that they're just on Instagram. I found this deck on Amazon, I want to say. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. The oracle cards I'm going to use for this one is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. The website, where is Sandra's website? I want to say she has her own website, but here's the Hay House website on the bottom, just below her picture. And I thought she had her own, maybe I'm mistaken. But I thought there was more websites. Maybe not. Oh, there they are. A bunch of Hay House websites. There they are, at the bottom. Okay, and last but not least, the dice I use a 21-sided dice for the major arcana, which does omit the Fool, but I make it work. And I believe that one is from this website, Tom Anders, and there's the information there if it focuses. If it's easier, here's another one of those. Oh, my brain cannot remember what you call that thing, but there it is. For the minor arcana, I use a 14-sided dice to choose the actual card, and then a 4-sided dice to choose the element. And the 14-sided dice came from here. I've had the 4-sided dice for the longest time. I couldn't tell you where they came from. I want to say it was Math Art Fun. Can't really see it here. Hopefully you can see it. mathartfun.com. All right, and that's what we have for that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much, and let's go on to your read. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? First card out, 3 of Swords. That's fun. But the next card out was the 2 of Cups. So we have some fun energy going on here. I feel like this one's going to be a roller coaster. I'll give you a heads up. The outcome's good. There's a little bit of confusion here. This is a roller coaster reading for sure. For sure. What are we starting with? Okay. So, this is the card I'm seeing from the past. It's the Tower card. It's kind of rough. I kept thinking of it as a dumpster fire. I don't know. This is the past. I feel like I'm looking backwards, and I'm not quite sure why things happened, which is saying a lot for Aquarius, because there's a lot of strong intellect with you guys. But there are missing pieces. But it's kind of like, you know what? There are missing pieces, but I kind of am reading between the lines here. It could be intuition. It could be intellect. But you're looking back, and you're like, based on what I've known, and I think I kind of know what happened there. I don't have the actual proof, but I'm pretty confident I know exactly what happened there. Or at least enough of it to where I can build where this is headed. And the situation might have a drastic change coming. 4 of Cups and the High Priestess, half in, half out. There's a moment here where I have to make a decision. I feel like you're probably at that moment. And it doesn't mean that you have to make that decision in the next 5 seconds, but probably within the next, at the most, the next month or two, I keep getting 5. So maybe 5 months. Maybe you have up to 5 months to make this decision, just argument's sake. But it's one of those things that weighs on you. It's kind of like you also know once you make your decision, you will have made your decision. It's not like you have to tell somebody else. It's like you have to tell yourself what you're going to do, and once you've decided what you're going to do, then you'll make it happen. But I keep getting like, it's not too far. It's not too long. Again, I don't feel you like you're going to make this decision today, but you're like, I have to make this decision in at least the next couple months. 5 months at the most. I don't know why I keep thinking 5, but I keep getting something with the number 5. And one of the reasons I'm considering kind of going on to something else is because when I'm looking at the current situation, it's been quite the thing. It's been quite the thing, and I haven't liked it. In fact, currently, I feel like I still don't like it. And I'm like, how much longer do I have to deal with this and still not like it? I don't like it. I haven't liked it. I don't think I'm going to like it. And at one point, you probably did think, at some point you'd get to that point where it'd be okay. And then maybe it could get better. And that point has just never shown up. It's just never shown up. And I'm like, how much longer do I have to work on this before it actually makes sense? It's hard because you have a lot of commitments into this. It's not an easy choice. I don't think it'd matter if it was. If it was an easy choice, you'd have already made it. You have a lot of stress around this and connections with people you have in this situation. This card does say family. Could be literal family connections are weighing in on this. Could be employee, employer. Could be coworker. Could be friends. I've had to do that myself. I've had to make decisions on certain situations, and I knew I was going to lose friends over it. And you just got to make peace with it before you make that decision. There's a lot of stress with that. You got to make your decisions. You got to make your decisions. What's coming next is based on the decision you make. Because I'm not sure if you're going to stay or go with this situation, just to be fair. But I do get a change of attitude. I get a very strong change of attitude. Whether you stay or if you go, I feel like this is working. This is going the way I want it to go. So one of the reasons maybe you don't like the situation, if you decide to stay in it, that is because maybe you have been trying to appease people or trying to play it a way that would be more enjoyable for other people. Maybe you've been holding yourself back. Maybe you've been monitoring yourself, limiting yourself, editing yourself. For some of you, I get the word muzzle. Have you been muzzling yourself? So when I think of muzzle, I think of a dog, and when they have that muzzle on, they can't bite. And they can bark, they can make some sounds a little bit, but they can't do a full bark, I don't think. I've never used a muzzle on my dogs when I had dogs. So I don't know exactly, besides not being able to bite, but I feel like it limits their sound too, but I could be wrong. And it's kind of like, if I'm going to stay, that muzzle's done, and it's not coming back. I am not going to muzzle myself any longer. I am not going to limit myself any longer. I am not going to edit myself any longer. If they don't like it, too bad. Because I can't keep doing this way. It's just too painful. For some of you, you might be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. But this change happens very quickly once you decide to. So whether you're going to stick with the situation or not, your attitude towards it is changing big time. And it's kind of like, nope, I'm not living like that anymore. I refuse to live like that. This is changing immediately. And you're going with it with some very strong energy. You got the 8 of Major Arcana, which is the Strength card, talks about, sometimes I think it talks about Leo energy because it's the leader of fire. That's how I usually see it, but it doesn't mean you have to. I'm also getting the Strength card and this card together are making me feel like I'm not looking back, I'm not taking any prisoners, I'm just going to do what I need to do, I'm just going to keep going, and if people don't like it, then they don't like it. There's also the Knight of Fire that's showing up on the dice. I'm going forward full force, and I'm just not taking any prisoners. You might have some brutal honesty that you use to your benefit. If you need to, then you will. Once you change that, I feel like we go from a shift in this situation. You were causing a shift in this situation. It's going from this random energy that just kind of does what it does. It wasn't, I don't see like anything negative, but this is a general read, but I just feel like the situation was just reacting the way it was reacting and just doing it day by day, and I don't really feel like it was a bad thing. But where it's going, when you change how you handle it, it starts to solidify and it starts to set up the way it's supposed to set up. It reminds me of like making a more complicated dish, and it's supposed to, when I say set up, it's like it's supposed to firm up in a certain way. And it's kind of like up until now, every time I made this dish, I would put it in a pan and leave it in there, and it would just, if I tried to take it out, it wouldn't have any form. It would just. But now that I'm saying it the way I want to say it, that I'm not holding myself back, now it does have structure. Now it's working the way it's supposed to be. Now it's working the way it always should have. It's kind of like, great, I have to be mean to make you people do what you're supposed to do? Is that how it is? All right, fine, then that's how it is. I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. I feel like it's probably not for all of you, but for some of you, I feel like it's kind of like, I don't think you're being actually mean, but it's kind of like it might feel like I'm being mean, kind of like I'm being a little brutal. I'm getting people's faces. I'm pointing out their shortcomings. I'm telling them what they did wrong and why they got the outcome they did because they made that choice, and that choice brought them there. And it's kind of like, maybe I feel like I'm being mean, but it's kind of like when that brutal honesty is right there and they're going to be accountable for it, all of a sudden they toe the line and they do it the way they're supposed to. I'm not saying you have to do anything. It's a general read, and some of you are like, I don't want to do that, then don't do that. But I'm getting, for some of you, it's kind of like, well, I've been trying not to do that, but maybe that's been the not best option so far. So I get a lot more work that's going into this situation, and it seems to be going better. You're going to go only so far, and I feel like you're going to start really thinking about, all right, wait a minute, I don't want to do it like this anymore. Is there a different way to do this? I feel like there's going to be a moment where I question, like, all right, I've been more brutally honest. I haven't been playing the niceties anymore. In fact, I have them. I told people I threw them out, but they're over to the side there. I can get them back if I want them to. If I want to be nice again, or I want to play sweetie sweet again, whatever you want to call it, I could do that. And I feel like I don't really know if I want to live this way. I don't like being this warden. I feel like I'm the warden. I'm cracking the whip and telling people how to live. But the truth is, you're just making people accountable for what they're doing. You're making people accountable, and they need to be. So I feel like it makes sense why you'd want to go back to the other way of doing things. You have this moment where kind of like, maybe I can go back and do it the other way again. But I feel like they're saying don't do this. Don't go back to the way it was, hoping that people will just like remember, like, okay, if I really push it, Aquarius is going to call me out. But, now that Aquarius is like kind of moved on from that energy for a while, maybe I'll just toe the line and just do what I'm supposed to so that Aquarius doesn't have to do it that way. I don't feel like that's going to hold water. I feel like it's going to go back to the way it was again, and you're going to be unhappy again. What they're saying to do is like, because I feel like you're going to go into a period where just like people just look at you cross-eyed and you're going to tell them where to go. I just feel like it's just, you're not going to mean to do it, and it's not like you're going to use vulgarity or anything like that to do it. They're going to look at you and you're going to be like, what? Shouldn't you be doing this? Where is that? Did you do that? I feel like I'm not going to mean to do it, but I feel like it's just going to be this knee-jerk reaction because I'm just frustrated. And then you're going to get past it. You're not going to want to do it. Going forward, when you hit that moment where you're like, do I have to keep doing it this way because I don't want to live like this? Take it in stride. Keep that bite to your personality, but just edit how you do it. Every now and then, like, give people like a 1 to 2 step. Give them 1 to 2 steps. They step out of line once. They step out of line twice. Just kind of glance over. They step out of line 3 times. All right, back to what we were doing. Because that'll bring you back into, that will keep it where you want it. They need to understand that you're keeping an eye on the situation. I don't know why, but your role in this situation, when you get to that point where you're like, I don't want to like call people out on every little thing anymore. I just feel like I'm calling them out on every little thing, and I don't want to do that anymore. It's just, I don't like it. That's cool. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You don't want to do that way, don't do it anyway, that way anymore. At first, I feel like you're going to do that way. You're not going to mean to, but that's how it's going to happen. Because you're taking the muzzle off the dog, and there's a lot of barking that needs to happen. Once you've worked it out, you're going to be like, I don't want to do this all the time anymore. I don't want to bark at every little thing that walks by the house. 1 to 2 steps. 1 step out of line, just kind of look over quietly, kind of like, I saw you, don't do that again. 2 steps maybe, if you decide that's appropriate. Kind of glare a little longer, like, I see you, don't do that. 3rd time, all right, they have to get the full treatment. And bark, 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 we go. Whatever the situation is, they need to know that you're keeping an eye on it so that they know that they can't play these games. Whoever this is, whatever's going on, they seem to can't help themselves from playing these games. What I get from there, after a while, people will get the point. And they'll realize if they get 1 step out of line, they'll be lucky. If they get 2 steps out of line, I feel like in the beginning you'll allow 2 steps, but soon it'll be just 1 step. They get 1 step, and you're gonna glare at them like you're pushing it. You're pushing it. You're pushing it. 1 step, and they get back in line. People will get used to that, and it will start creating a new boundary system. I don't think you're going to have to be on people constantly, but you're going to have to keep an eye on everything. I feel like that's not a hard thing for you. You see it anyway. You know what's going on anyway. But I do feel like this will go a lot smoother. Whatever the situation is, the people that you're dealing with just can't seem to help themselves. They just can't seem to help themselves, but try to see how far they can get with stuff. What is that outcome? I understand that there's a really good outcome here for you, but let's see how this is playing. The Star card, which is your card, and then the Page of Cups reversed. Okay. So, things are going to return to a much better place for you. But that Page of Cups reversed, people you don't like are people you don't like. So, I don't want to paint this as like a utopian picture, you're going to get to this spot and cross this hill, and even the people you didn't like, you're going to love. Yeah, right. Okay, sure. Would you buy that line if I told it to you? Would you really? It's going to be more like, even the people you don't like, you can tolerate, and I feel like they'll stay out of your way. There's people in this situation that you do like. There's people in this situation that are okay. And there's people in this situation that you just flat out don't like, and I don't think you're gonna. But I feel like there's going to be this energy where I can get along. These people who you don't care for, they're going to get the point because you're going to have the least amount of patience for them. They're going to do their best to stay out of your way. And I feel like that works. The people that you were like, I'm okay with them, they seem to like you a lot better with the more bite to your personality. I feel like most of you have a little bite anyway. Maybe some of you were holding it back. And the people that you really did love, it's just better. It's just better than it was. It's just a really good thing. I do feel like you'll have a really realistically happy outcome with this, and things will go a lot better than you expected. But when I say a realistic, I don't think every day is going to be skipping through the sunshine. But it's going to be a lot better. It's kind of like, living in a place where there's no snow. How's that? I live up in New York, so it's kind of like, there's snow here, and I'm not really a big fan of it. But if I went to a place like Mexico, and I lived in Mexico, where to me that weather is a lot better, to me personally. It's kind of like, not every day is a sunshine day, and there are storms, and there's hurricanes, and the things every now and then. But, within a week or so, we have sunshine again. So it's not that bad. Versus, in New York, especially when I was a kid, winter would come at the end of October, and it wouldn't leave until April. It's not the case anymore, but that's what it used to be. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.